Florida State announced this week that Mike Norvell is coming back, and most likely your response was, what? Huh? For real? Yes. And let me explain to you why that happened. Spoiler, it's money. So obviously Mike and Florida State have not had a good time recently. 2-10 last season, and I will give him some credit. They've improved to 5-6 this year. They'll have to beat Florida next week to make it to a bowl game. But the vibes are very bad in Tallahassee. And Mike Norvell's been there for about 6 years now. He's 38 and 33 throughout his time at Florida State, and it's like very clear things aren't working out. But Mike has a great agent, one who has definitely earned his commission. It would cost $58 million for Florida State to fire Mike Norvell. That is not including his staff. It would be over $70 million to get rid of Mike Norvell and his staff. And Florida State does not have $70 million to spend because they are in the ACC. But the ACC has a horrendous media rights deal with ESPN that's locked in for a very long time. So Florida State is making significantly less money than teams in the SEC or Big Ten. I think it also plays into the fact that this is a very competitive hiring cycle, probably more competitive than we've seen in a really long time. So when Florida State normally would be the best job available, or at least one of the best jobs available, not the case this year with LSU, Penn State, Florida all in the mix. So Florida State has decided to just pass on next season, basically, to say 2026 is a wash. We're going to let that buyout drop down so we can afford it. And hopefully there will be less teams hiring next season. This isn't going to work. It's been 6 years. Mike Norvell has shown you who he is, what he has to offer, and it's just not a good fit. But those contracts that Florida State signed were so bad that now you just have to sit with it because you cannot afford to pay him and his staff. This sort of like weird contract situation they're in with Mike Norvell is a direct result of athletic directors and athletic departments not knowing how to react during a crazy hiring cycle. Where Mike Norvell got an extension recently after that season where Florida State was wrongfully left out of the playoff, but it really wasn't because of the product. Although they were a very good football team that year, it was a direct result of Nick Saban retiring and Florida State not wanting Mike Norvell to take that Alabama job, which he was very much in the hunt for. So they gave him a giant extension with only 1 year's worth of evidence that this was the right guy. We saw this with Mel Tucker at Michigan State. I think we're seeing it right now with Matt Rhule at Nebraska, and you're seeing it in sort of the ending stages with Mike Norvell at Florida State. Because in his 6 seasons in Tallahassee, he only has 2 winning ones. This whole next upcoming year for Florida State is just simply them buying time until that buyout drops and that hiring cycle is less competitive.